check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks. He got a check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks. He got a check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks. He got a check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks. He got a check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks. He got a check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks. He got a check.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another video of Queens in Real Estate. If you watch our other previous video, you know that Brian from Gill Mortgage is doing a part 2 to our series of questions. That way you guys can be educated. So Brian, we're going to be talking about loan types, grants, and possible down payment assistance. So first question, what are some of the common loan types?
Your basic loan types are going to be FHA, that's a federal housing loan, rural housing or USDA, so that's going to be a loan geared toward homes outside of the incorporated areas of cities. VA, so any ex-military, veterans, active duty military, and then conventional. That's a loan program that's more backed by the private sector than the government as per your FHA.
Gotcha. Are there any loans for investors?
Absolutely. They lots of loan programs, they typically always require 20% down though. So most of your investors will need a larger down payment when they purchase a house. There are some ways around that if you're currently own a home and you're looking to add a rental to your portfolio. If you're buying a new primary residence, you can keep your existing home and convert it into a rental and not have to pay the 20% down on the home that you're buying. You just have to be purchasing a home that you're going to live in, and then all of your normal down payment requirements go along with that.
So, excuse me, just for clarification, you're saying that if a buyer already owns a home and it's their primary residence, and now they want to move into the vesting side, they may not be subject to the 20% down.
If the home that they're going to buy is going to be their new primary residence.
Okay, and they're making the first home the investment property.
And then now they're keeping the home that they already own, and they're going to start renting that out.
Gotcha.
So that's a way to get into it, to add another home, start trying to do the rental.
Okay. Now for some investors, they may have to do some type of renovations, and they may not have the funds, to cover any type of renovations. I think we're all watching HGTV, and we all think we could, we all inspired to go in and gut out a whole home. So are there any loan programs that can cover renovations? And how does that typically work?
Yeah, so, that renovation business is typically a cash business. There is a loan out there. It's an FHA loan, a 203K. It's a pretty intense loan, but it's so you can purchase a home that does need work, and you would make that home your primary residence. But there's a lot of legwork up front that has to be done. You have to go ahead and have the contractors come out, give estimates. It has to be a 203K certified appraiser that does a before and an after value appraisal. So there's some more appraisal cost in there. But that is a loan program. If there's not a lot of renovation that has to be done in the house, the home might just be an older home, it's just a dated home, you can still purchase the home with a regular loan. Then if you have some equity in the house, try to do an equity line.
Gotcha.
To where you could pull cash and then do the repairs.
So speaking of interest rates, you were saying that conventional is more like 20% now?
No, conventional, As far as your down payments on purchasing homes?
Yeah.
Yep, conventional, you can go as high as, or as low as just a 3% down.
3%,
But you're
okay.
gonna have to have a higher credit score. Yeah, the 20% down is just gonna be on your investment properties. If you're
So that's
looking,
even we're using a 203K loan.
well, no, your 203K, you're gonna be purchasing a home that you're gonna live in. So that's gonna be a primary residence.
Gotcha.
Yep, so anytime you're purchasing a home that you're gonna live in and make your home, your down payment is typically gonna be much lower. If you're purchasing an investment that's going to be a rental or a flip or something like that, you're going to have a 20% down payment. If you're looking to do a flip, then you have to take into account the condition of the home, because then a lot of loans will not finance a home that's in very poor condition. So that's why it's really a big cash business.
Gotcha. Let's backtrack for a little bit. So you were saying the FHA, I don't know if you said in this video or the previous video, is like a 3.5% down.
Correct.
USDA is 100% financing.
Correct.
Can you explain who will qualify for USDA though?
Anybody who would qualify for most any other loan would qualify for a USDA. What makes USDA different is it's going to be for more rural homes outside of city limits or outside of incorporated areas. And if you Google USDA loan map, you can actually find a link that'll pull the map up, and you can zoom in on the areas, and it'll highlight, what area is ineligible and then what area is eligible.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. So does the minimum credit score vary depending on loan type, and can you provide like a little bit more detail into that?
It does, and it really depends on different programs. So you can have you'll have many different conventional loans. You'll have lots of different FHA loans. Every program would have different down payment amounts, credit scores, things like that. But basically, as long as you have a 600 credit score, FHA, VA, both of those are government-backed loans, so they're a little more forgiving on your requirements, on your score requirements. USDA, conventional, that they'll say they'll still go down to 600, but you have a harder time getting approvals, especially on conventional. USDA will go down as well, but again, you have to have some income or money in the bank. You have to have some reserves. You have to have something to offset that lower credit score.
Okay. So what type of programs are there for first-time home buyers to like help with down payment assistance or any grants that may be available?
Yep. And those come and go. The best place to look on those is online. But here in South Carolina, you do have the state housing loan program. They'll give you some money up front. The thing I don't like about that program, you have to stay in the house for 10 years, sometimes 20 years before the money gets forgiven. So you can live in the house for 8 years and have to repay all that money back when you sell the house. You have a Palmetto Heroes program that actually is just getting refunded right now in April. That money runs out over the next couple months, but if you're work in the medical field, firefighter, EMT, teacher, if you're a full-time doctor's office employee, and last year they even added grocery stores.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't have that this year.
Yeah.
Even though coronavirus and COVID is still going on, I was a little disappointed that they didn't continue that.
Yeah, I was too. But that's a great program. I believe you can get up to $12,000 on that program. We talked earlier, we have a new program that most people don't have for FHA, to where we are now doing a second mortgage on the 3.5% down for FHA. You have to have a 640 credit score, and there are some income restrictions on there and purchase price restrictions. But you're basically getting a second loan on the 3.5, so you can get around that down payment as well. And then USDA is 100%. So there's some different ways. you know, they're not really any. A lot of people advertise, you know, the first-time home buyer program, but it's usually a down payment assistance through state housing or something like that, or this new FHA program that we have
Gotcha.
is geared to first-time home buyers.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, and I think with Palmetto Heroes, I think it's also anyone that's in law enforcement,
as
or
well.
correctional officers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very broad.
Yeah, it is. It is. It was, you know, even better last year. So if you got to miss that, if you missed that opportunity, I'm telling you, you always have to be prepared. It's better to be prepared and not have a situation than have a situation occur and not prepare.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually a good one. Like you said, it's $12,000, up to $12,000, I'm not mistaken, towards down payment assistance. And I mean, that can pretty much, you know, get you to the closing table without having to pay anything out of pocket for the most part. So.
Yeah, and that FHA program I was telling you that we do, where you're getting 3.5% down. If you fall within a lower income bracket, that 3.5% down is 0 interest, and as long as you make 36 on-time payments, it gets forgiven in 3 years. So it's a really cool program.
Buyers can find information regarding down payment assistance where?
You know, you can Google down payment assistance. They can call me as well, call you. Great resource for information. But yeah, you know, most of those programs you can find online, and Richland County has a really good program. If you buy, you know, that's here in Columbia. If you buy within Richland County and you meet the income requirements and all of that as well, I believe they give you $8,000 that you do not have to pay back. You have to buy a home in Richland County. You take a short class. Now that class is on a very long waiting list. I think the last I heard it was 2, 3, 4 months.
Wow.
So that would be something that you would sign up for in advance if you know you're making a plan, if you're working on getting your credit straight, or if you know you're going to buy a home in 6 months.
So buyers don't have to wait to, you know, start that program or take that class.
You have to take that class before you find a house. Yep. So if you're looking in the near future to buy a home, go to that Richland County website, go through a couple of residence tabs, housing tabs, and you'll find the information on the program, and click that link to sign up for the class and go ahead and get in it. And you know, once you get that class, contact Miss Shay and let her find you that house.
Yeah. You contact Brian. They go ahead and get you pre-approved, and we're gonna go shopping. So we didn't want to, you know, do too much with this video. Just hit some key points on loan types, down payment assistance, and possible grants. Google is going to be your best friend. Reaching out to your local real estate agent like myself, or even contacting the lender like Brian. We can definitely, you know, get the resources that you need in advance, and, you know, plan ahead so you can be ahead of the game. It's always good to be ahead of the game. You know, even if you know, you have the money and, you know, you have savings, if these programs apply to you, and you know, you qualify, if it makes sense, if the numbers make sense, take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Because whatever you have saved, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to go buy some new furniture, you want to do a vacation, you want to, you know, trick your whole house out. So, and you also still want to have those reserves, because keep in mind, being a home buyer, you will have repairs you have to take care of on your own. It's not a landlord you have to call, so you definitely want to have the money in reserves like Brian was talking about, just for those rainy days. But yeah, take advantage of it. And if you're not sure, you know, because I posted this on Facebook about the Palmetto Heroes, and had a lot of people in like the medical field saying, well, will this qualify? Will this? I don't know everything. You know what I had to do? I had to call Brian. So continue to call me, continue to text me, inbox me. If I don't know, I partner with a good team of resources, because it's not just me that's helping you in the buying process. Brian's part is about as critical as my part. So you really have to go through him first in order to get to me. But yeah, Brian, do you have any tips or advice that you would give someone that's purchasing a home for the first time before we leave?
The biggest thing is just get your finances in order. That you can't stress that enough, and try like heck to just have that 12 months of paying on time, get a history. It doesn't matter as much what happened before the 12 months. Time heals everything, but if you can show a good 12 months, you're usually on the right track. You're going to see an increase in your credit score. Watch those tricky little collections that sneak up that you might not know about. When you get that $30 bill and from the doctor's office, and you say, "Oh, I'll pay that eventually." Well, don't let it get to a collection. Put that on the front, and because that one little $30 collection can hurt you for 12 months. But that's just the biggest thing. Everybody can get there. We all want you to get there. We all encourage you, coach you, help you. Anything we can do to get you to that final goal of buying a house.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Brian, I just want to say I appreciate you taking time out your day today to come in and be a guide for a lot of people in the community. People back at home, and I'm from the PD or Marion area, so most of this information doesn't just apply to Columbia. It applies across the board. It mainly applies to Columbia when you're talking about the grants, because some may be county-based.
And for us, it doesn't matter. We can do loans in the entire state. We're licensed in the entire state. So if you live in the PD, upstate, low country, if you have questions, you can still reach out. I'm glad to talk to you.
All right, you guys, that is it. Thank you once again for tuning in to another video of Queens in Real Estate. We will catch you next time. Peace.